There was nothing before the internet.
I like all varieties of bread.
Girls getting Lasix is hot.
You gotta let him in. Out of courtesy.
Sure. It's not Webster's. It's a fucking Urban Dictionary.
Yeah, let my nerd freak fly.
You have a really slender wiener.
Failing in a cute way.
My penis is so tiny.
Maybe you could get brainly.
I'm too lazy to do a podcast, so I appear on other people's podcasts. This is PodCRASH with that Chris Gore.
Welcome to the show. I am that Chris Gore. This is PodCRASH. This is the show where you get to hear me as a guest each week on a different podcast. You get to discover new podcasts. I get to talk about a variety of topics. Everybody wins. It's fun. This week, the Two White Guys podcast. And the Two White Guys podcast, a lot of fun. It's not just two white guys, because they have guests on the show, of which I was a guest. And it's hosted by Jason Horton and Josh Mattingly, two comedians, very funny people. They also perform at IO West. And they do the show it's on YouTube, but also it's an iTunes podcast as well. But they actually videotape the podcast, and we'll be talking about that later. A couple of things. Let me get the plugs out of the way. On Saturday, December 8th, 7:30 p.m. is our Nerd Girl Mixer, and then at 8 p.m. at IO West in Hollywood, 6366 Hollywood Boulevard, I'm calling it Geekgirlapalooza. And it's the ladies of the Defective Geeks. It's myself, other special guests. It's going to be incredible to be streaming on YouTube, youtube.com/PodCRASHTV, but you can get tickets at ioimprov.com/west. That's Saturday, December 8th, 7:30 p.m. Come and see the show live. They are so much fun. And everyone who shows up that night gets a free DVD. And the DVD is actually from the mind of Bill Zabub. So I want to thank Bill Zabub for sponsoring the show. There's I think we have 110 seats in that theater. So I have enough DVDs for everybody that shows up that night, and a variety of films from I have tried to discuss his movies on Attack of the Show. Bill Zabub is Zabub, Z-E-B-U-B. Just Google him. And I happened to be in one of the documentaries. He made a documentary called King of the B Movies about himself, where he asked people to actually just say bad things about his movies. I didn't really have to exaggerate. I mean, his movies, he's a kind of guy that I think is a visionary in the sense that he tries to make a bad film and succeeds every single time. He has made one of my all-time favorite weird horror movies called Ass Monsters. And Ass Monsters is he plays the lead in it. It's about a bunch of guys who are fans of horror that try to make a horror movie. So it's very meta. It's like The Office for horror nerds in a way. It's that sort of style of it's that style of comedy where they're very aware of what they're doing. They're very aware of what horror fans are into. And all of his movies are like they're really offensive, but he does it completely on purpose. Like he made a film called Jesus Christ Serial Rapist. Who would ever make a movie like this? He made a film called Ant Farm Dickhole, which I think there are copies to give away at the December 8th show. So please be there. And my recommendation is check out King of the B Movies, which I think you will enjoy. And just anything from, it's one of those things where it's like you watch the trailers for Bill Zabub's movies and you can't believe someone made that movie. It's just insane. So yeah, come to our show on Saturday, December 8th. Oh, and the same night, actually I'm doing the Batman holiday special performing with Comic Book Live. And that'll be at 11:30 p.m. And if you just buy one ticket to PodCRASH, you get into the Batman holiday special for free. And same night at IO West, they're having Super Bar, which is a cosplay bar. So if you come in costume, there'll be drink specials that are superhero themed. There'll be, I know that there's a girl having a birthday party. There are going to be a bunch of girls dressed like Batman characters from the world of Batman. So there will be a lot of people dressed up. You'll actually feel out of place if you don't dress up. But it's a once a month cosplay bar that happens the same night as Comic Book Live. PodCRASH happens to takes place the same night, so it's just going to be Saturday, December 8th is going to be an epic night of fun. So please turn out for that. Okay, let's get to the Two White Guys podcast. I mentioned that it's hosted by Jason Horton and Josh Mattingly, and these guys were a blast. It's one of those things where it's like I didn't realize though that the show was short, and so this is something I feel really guilty about. And something I'm trying to work on, actually, as I appear as a guest on podcasts. Because I don't just want you to hear me rattle away. I feel like I talk too much already. Hence the opening of this show. But I didn't realize the show was only half an hour. So it's a half-hour YouTube show podcast. I thought it was an hour. I'm sitting here just trying to, like, when someone asks me a question, I kind of feel like, this is why I feel like I'm a better guest than I am a host. If I'm a guest, someone asks me a question, I feel like I have an obligation to give you not only the correct and most honest answer, but a complete answer as long as time permitting. So I have to actually, I got to learn to edit myself here so that you guys get a better taste of what the show is like rather than just me talking about a bunch of topics. So that's something I'm going to be working on. That's going to be on the New Year's resolution list. Talk less when you're on a podcast so that you get a sense of the show. But these guys, God, we talked about porn stars. We talked about we talked about a lot. We talked about a bunch of stuff, but they have comedians on the show. They have porn stars on the show. They have some reality show celebrities and internet celebrities. And Jason's already, he's like one of those super popular YouTube comedians. I aspire to be that someday. And Josh is actually an indie game designer, which is cool. It was taped at this studio. It's like this studio in Culver City that it's like a sports warehouse. So like whenever the NFL does like the NFL is part of a movie, they supply all of the jerseys, all the all of the merchandise. Like if a film gets an NFL license to have like a scene in their movie with a football team, this warehouse supplies all of the props for that scene, the official jerseys, even fan wear. And I got a tour of the facility by the producer Adam Rutter, who took me around and just showed me all this really cool sports memorabilia, just stacked to the ceiling. It was insane. All right, so let's get to the Two White Guys podcast. This was a lot of fun. Again, you can check out the clips, the video clips online. Here are the highlights. The Two White Guys podcast.
So you're a nerd.
Yes.
You're a geek, whatever you want to call it.
You are also a nerd, I can tell from the shirt.
I'm very popular and sexy and a bit of a jock.
Yeah, you are.
I used to get, why is it that, I always think about this, I used to get my ass kicked all the time in school for being a nerd, and it wasn't like ironic or wasn't like, now it is cool and you could get laid from being a nerd, sort of, depending if you're a cool one.
But you still don't, though. Let's
No,
be
you
honest.
don't, but in a different way.
Right.
I heard conventions, I don't know, I heard some people at PAX and E3 this year were hooking up. Like, they were meeting people at the convention floor, and they're, like, doing it. I'm like...
Doing it sex style?
Yeah.
I maybe you could get brain laid. I think that's what happens. Yeah. Is like because I always tend to go for a girl that can give me a brainer. You know what I mean? Like I like a smart girl. Like one of my fetishes, I like girls in glasses. I think girls in glasses are hot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Agreement.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
On this?
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, girls in glasses are hot.
I think girls getting LASIX is hot. Like I love girls who just got out of LASIX. And it's like
they're bettering their life for their future.
But they wear glasses as a fashion statement,
yes.
Not to see, but as a fashion statement. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that I like. Yeah.
So you're the nerd, and that's the thing is like that word nerd or geek or whatever word, which I think they probably mean two different things.
Right.
Nerd
I think that a lot of it is sort of crossing over into like people who like things that are genre and geeky, which is really, I mean, if you look at the top box office movies of all time, I mean, 90% of them are all like genre movies, sci-fi, fantasy, science fiction stuff. It's all. Those are the top movies, so to say you're a nerd is maybe an indicator that you like that stuff, but that doesn't make you a nerd. I think being a nerd is also being socially awkward and failing in ways, failing in a cute way, a cute and charming way.
over
girls are attracted to.
and over.
My penis is so tiny.
Yeah.
That can't be fixed.
Yeah.
Such a nerdy problem to have.
Yeah.
Your tiny little wiener. We've talked before, and you're big into the like indie movie scene, right?
Yeah,
And
that's kind of where I came from. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even looking at some of the stuff. I'm not even so sure I'd call it indie, but like obscure.
Yeah,
But in a good way.
Yeah, I personally tend to go for the stuff that. I mean, now this is stuff that's on YouTube all the time. But like, what I would look for in an indie movie is something where production value wasn't important to me.
Like Troll 2.
Yeah, Troll 2. Yeah, production value is meaningless. It's all about content. It's all about like, do you believe, what you're seeing? Does it feel authentic and real? And those are the kind of indie movies that appeal to me. Something that has something to say. You can see the vision through the production. I think a lot of the best content on YouTube is stuff that has that element. There's just something there. Someone's interesting to listen to. Someone's, they've got interesting, whatever. You know what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
Production value is not as important as content. So,
Which kind of, for a lot of people, and my friends back home in Michigan were asking me when they hear that like quantity over quality is kind of like you said, in YouTube, it's like you just keep pumping it out. It's kind of disheartening for people when they hear that. They're like, oh, well, I wanted to make the best thing ever, but if nobody's going to watch it, it doesn't matter.
It's got to come out every week. It's got to be frequency, and it's interesting you mentioned. I'm from Michigan as well.
Mm-hmm. Where are you from?
Royal Oak.
Okay, I'm from Grand Rapids.
Grand Rapids. Okay, yeah, I know Grand Rapids.
Yeah.
Yes,
I know Royal Oak.
Been there many times. I had a job in Big Rapids, Michigan, for a while. But I mean, being from Michigan's kind of cool because I feel like you've got that sort of grounded Midwestern work ethic.
Yeah.
But then you come to LA where you realize people are kind of flaky. They're kind of flaky. They're kind of like, to me, it's like, the measure is like, do you just keep your word? As simple as that. Like, if I promise I'm going to email you those naked pictures of that one girl we were talking about before.
Yes, you're going to send that.
I will definitely send them. If I don't send them, then I'm a flake, but I will not do that. I will actually send those to you.
It's something I noticed. I'm not as like, I don't know. I'm not as tapped into kind of like the nerd geek culture as some other people, but it seems like there's so many events and conventions. Like, and now, like, even now more than like 5 years, like there's just so many conventions about gaming and YouTube and horror and comics and stuff like that. Do you think that's because there's more people that are interested in it, or more people are realizing, oh my God, there's so much money to be made where maybe people didn't think the money was to be made, so they're kind of like, it's kind of generating more things?
I think it's not. I mean, the money thing is, I think, sort of a minor point. It's that the audience is there. Yeah. The audience is there, and they can't all go to Comic-Con in San Diego, even though 130,000 or so people do. There's not. I mean, a lot of people can't afford to go to it. I mean, and also Comic-Con's grown so much just between hotel rooms and everything. So now you've got popping up things like, Phoenix Comic-Con's been going along for a while. There's Emerald Con in Kansas. There's like
Wizard Con.
Yeah. There's Dragon Con, which is probably, that is the most fun. It's like nerdy girl.
Dragon Con?
I go to Dragon Con dressed in costume.
Nice. Gen Con happens up in the Midwest. My friends go to that.
But when I go there, I kind of feel like I found my tribe. Like, these are my people. These are the things, like, usually by day 2 of any convention like that, if I'm having a really good time, I've lost my voice. Like, I can't speak because I'm having incredibly geeky conversations about, well, I don't know, warp speed. If that were real, actually, blah, 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 well, episode 2 of Star Wars, that's what really, whatever. I would argue episode 1 is the best of the Star Wars films. How dare you? Like, those kind of conversations are things that can only be had at those places. And I feel completely free to kind of just geek out about everything. I'm not going to be ridiculed, and I can just sort of let my freak fly, so to speak, my nerd freak fly.
Yeah.
I do think that finding your tribe in terms of people that you relate to is really important. And then there's that sort of Venn diagram of the sort of crossover between different types of tribes. You've got, there's so many factions of geeks. It's not even funny, from your Doctor Who fans to your Star Wars fans, your Star Trek fans to your the people. If you have to pick one in faction, it does start to divide up pretty into like very tiny pie, very, very thin pie slices. But I think it's important to sort of find your general tribe, and then you'll find your sort of sub-tribes within that tribe. And I just feel like what is great about that environment is it just allows you to be yourself without any judgment. That is what's important about finding your tribe. Whether you're performer doing improv comedy at something like IO West, whether you're just traveling to San Diego Comic-Con, going to see panels and hang out with other geeks and just having intense conversations in line. This is, I think, why you can complain about the long lines, but one of the fun things about lines is you're making new friends. This is how you make friends, is you're all suffering through the waiting in the line, but you're all connected by this thing that you're all fans of. Find your tribe. I think finding your tribe is the secret to finding happiness. I might tweet that. All right, back to the Two White Guys podcast.
I love Urban Dictionary, but like now kids are like, oh no, I read it on Urban Dictionary. It must be real.
that's
it's
not...
like, no, it's not Webster's. It's a fucking Urban Dictionary.
Yeah, and the stuff on
I go by Oxford, so
right. Well, the stuff on Wikipedia is not even particularly.
Yeah,
I refer to my own Wikipedia entry, which is definitely written by someone who freaking hates me, but I don't care because it's Wikipedia.
So you left it on there?
Who gives a crap? So yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, facts I think are important. So I think I corrected one fact on there. They said I directed this movie that I didn't. That I produced it. I don't know. But it was like, it just bugged me because I thought, hey, that doesn't give credit to the guy who actually directed the movie.
Sure, yeah.
That's not cool. I will correct this fact in the interest of facts. So, so the haters don't bug me just because I've been dealing with haters for years. Like,
hey man, you got them and they don't. So
right. When I started this fanzine in high school called Film Thread, I started the mail section of it was called Hate Mail. And I would actually take, so people would send me this physical letters. This is before the internet.
There was nothing before the internet.
This was 1985 when I started it. So people would send in physical letters, and then I would take the letters and I would just reduce them in size and put them. It was very punk rock.
Yeah.
Zine. That's a word.
I had a zine. I had like a punk hardcore thing.
You did?
Yeah,
What was it?
94 to 2000 called Hellbender. I had to do yeah.
Oh my god! I probably have. I would collect zines.
Yeah.
I've got boxes.
Are they the ones that are just like this big?
No,
yeah,
mine
I love those.
Mine was full size.
Really?
It was half size, but it went to full size.
Wow.
I used to get checks from like Epitaph Records for like $2,000. I
would do the distribution. Sort of you piecemeal together.
Yeah.
Like, well, this paid for the printing and maybe a little bit extra.
I learned a lot from fanzines. I learned a lot how to market and do stuff like this podcast. Like,
yes.
Like we're doing.
Yeah, so DIY marketing is like something that I came from. So like whenever I look at anything, I always think, well, what's the marketing angle for this thing? What's the thing that's going to get people interested in it? Which is just, to me, marketing is just a simple way to describe a thing to someone else. So that someone can, like, you tell me what your marketing hook is of your thing, and then I can repeat it to someone else without you being there.
Right.
Just from memory. That's good marketing. So
Oh my God, we're
people
haunted by a
can remember. I'm
ghost.
serious.
We're haunted by a ghost.
Oh, what's the ghost?
The fanzine ghost.
Oh,
the DIY fanzine
That's
ghost.
great. I think that's a sign.
Yeah.
That's a sign.
No, we're just going to leave it there.
Yeah.
This is how
great.
real things
I think what should happen is we should take the footage of that falling and put some really dark music to it. Do like one of those digital zoom-ins where you zoom in too much, where it actually starts the grain. You see the grain, and run it in slow motion, like, to try to find the ghost.
Michael's not going to do that.
You're not going to do that? Where's the production value?
He doesn't care. He just turns these out. He just sees this.
And then repeat it in us, like, turning our heads. And then what's that shadow? We could
I
build...
bet you if you just froze him right here, there's like a white shadow between me and you.
Guys,
There is.
He's a goddamn Jew. He's not going to do anything.
He's not really?
Yeah, he's a goddamn Jew.
Is that true?
But you're Jewish, so you can say that, right?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, I can't really. I'm not Jewish.
Well,
Yeah,
what
I
are
can't.
you?
I'm basically like Europe had an orgy and then I was born. It's German, English, Irish, Russian, and Polish.
Okay.
Like just
Yeah.
a little Eastern Europe.
It's like the 7 deadly sins.
Yeah, it's like they got together, boned, and then hello.
They had a huge party, a lot of Zambuca involved, I'm sure now.
Yeah.
What's your like? I feel like you probably have so many projects, like most people.
Yes.
Out here. What's your day to day like?
My day to day is like
Going to Target.
well, I can, but just like like you get up and you're like, because the kind of jobs we have are not traditional jobs, right? Like I do actually have a job where I know what I have to do. Like I've got to watch some DVDs and talk about them on the air once a week on G4 TV Attack of the Show Tuesdays. I'm on a segment called DV Tuesday. But all my other
Corporate
projects,
sellout.
yes, and I'm grateful to have that job now in today's economy.
Please put us on the show. Thank you.
Yes,
I know a lot about video games.
But like you get up and you're like, oh well, what's to me the urgent need? Like, and usually it's something that someone else needs. Like someone can't do something unless I give them this thing, whether it be like a script or like I need to get them some file or something. Like, so those to me come the priorities because they're in a hold pattern until they get stuff from me. So that becomes my top priority. And then I have like the one thing that I need to get done that day. That's the thing I avoid. all day. That is the thing that has to get done. I usually do that last.
Masturbation.
I have learned that works itself in.
Okay.
But I like to think that procrastination is part of the process. But I just read this book. It's so good. It's called The War of Art. Have you ever seen a twist on the art of war?
Yeah.
The War of Art is written by this guy who's a screenwriter and a novelist who basically talks about the struggle with creativity and the thing that stops everyone, which is usually distraction. Like you masturbate as a distraction, or you spend too much time on social media as a distraction. It's distracting you from the thing that you fear, which is success, which is getting the things done that you need to get done. But I do think that, like, from that procrastination, a lot of times it's like working out the problem. Like, I have this writing. Like, I don't know how the characters go from X to Z to Y. How does that? And then you do solve that when you're not thinking about it.
Yeah, I am a constant victim of myself and my distractions. I'm a victim of the like, here's the one thing I have to get done today. And it's usually one thing, like post a podcast. And it's the thing I avoid because I think that the thing I have to do, I'm going to do anyways. So I may as well organize this shelf, or I may as well do this, or I'll just beat this one level on this game, or there's that DVD commentary I really wanted to listen to, or there was, and if you've listened to the show long enough, you must get the idea that when you're hearing me talk, I am bouncing around all over the place. Topic to topic, I do feel like I'll make it back around, or things do relate in a way. It's sort of this boom, boom, bing, bing, boom, and I'm back to the final point, which is back to the Two White Guys podcast.
I've written a bunch of books, and to me, it's pretty easy to write a book. Can I tell you guys how to write a book?
Yes, please. I want to say that.
And your audience.
Yes.
Because, by the way, do you know that one of the top categories on YouTube are instructional videos?
Oh, yeah.
How to.
People learn how to play piano, do magic tricks, do
Guitar. I watched many of them.
I learned,
Drums. I did a drum thing for a while.
Drums. See, I learned GarageBand, how to edit my podcast just from watching YouTube videos. But okay, so write a book. It's very simple. Here's my process. A, come up with a really catchy title. It's got to be a simple title. Most titles are short. The books I've written are like, The Ultimate Film Festival Survival Guide was one of my books. I wrote a book called The 50 Greatest Movies Never Made, which is about unproduced screenplays and failed film projects. So it's got to be like simple. Like, you know what the book is by the title. I've even thought up titles for books that I was like, I'm too lazy to write that. And I would just give the book proposal to a friend, and I helped a bunch of people sell some books. So it's got to be a catchy title, and it's got to have a market and a sellable category, right? Then what you do is, at least what I do, is I spend about 6 months on the outline of the book, which is basically anywhere from a 10-page to a 60-page document outlining about every 250 words that you will write in the book. So it's like, chapter 1 is this. How do you do the outline? The outline is effectively your table of contents. So look at the table of contents for a book. You know what the table of contents is? That is the outline. Oh. So any TOC...
Table of contents.
That's what they say in the
industry term.
It's a talk. So you take that, and I spend a lot of time, because what I'm doing is I'm actually thinking about, here's the headline, and then I might even put like a little summary, like, here's the first line of that chapter. Mm-hmm. I'm going to do that. And then so I spend a lot of time in that. Then I write the book in 1 month. Because after I've thought about it for so long, for 6 months, I get up really early in the morning, 6 a.m., maybe 5 a.m., and I write for 3 hours. And I don't stop, and I go through my outline top to bottom. Now I'll change stuff. I'll add, I really need something here. As I'm writing, I realize this is missing. Or I'm going to move this around. But every day I look at a couple of those headlines, and I go, I'm going to write. I write between 1,000 and 3,000 words a day. I don't stop unless I have a minimum of 1,000. 3,000 is a good day. Write 6 days a week on that schedule for 1 month. By the end of that period of time, you'll have approximately 60,000 words or more. And that's a book. 60,000 words is your average book, right? Said the ghost.
The walls are coming down, people.
We are on the Two White Guys podcast, and we are being attacked by some white ghosts here.
Yeah. Well, we probably black ghosts.
You think so?
Like Two White Guys podcast.
Haunted by black ghosts. No, I've always wanted. I mean, it's one.
So that's how you write a book. I mean, just like, to me, it's easier. That's a really good process for nonfiction. Yeah. Now the trick is, how do you sell the book? I will tell you how to do that as well. Research companies, right? You're writing a book. What is the book? I don't know. The book is
How to Have Sex.
How to Have Sex. Sex for Nerds. I don't know. Whatever it is, research the category. So what do? Go to a bookstore. Where do you find them these days? That's difficult. But I don't believe in what I call the vanity press. Vanity press is someone just self-publishes a book. Because I think at a certain point, we have all these tools to do things on our own, whether it be you could put out a stand-up comedy CD, you could put out, on iTunes or whatever, you could put out, start a web series and just put it out yourself. I think certain things, you do need the help of, look onto the distributor as like a partner, right? Because if you're doing all these business things, I do try to manage my time well, you get too much doing the business part of it, it takes away from your ability to be creative because you're wearing too many hats. You need partners. You need people behind the scenes. There are 2 people behind the scenes right now.
Tyler and Michael.
There was another guy gave me a tour of this whole place.
Adam.
He's obviously important in this. So there's like an office. So
we're the least important of this whole...
So, but those are your support. You need that. So I feel like with Vanity Press, I think it actually adds credibility to have a book publisher involved, whether it be a Random House or a St. Martin's Press. And they know things about how to get your book into different territories. My book was translated into Chinese and other languages.
Oh, wow.
I don't know how to do that.
You don't know Chinese?
I don't. I've dated a girl who was half Chinese once.
That doesn't make you a linguist.
It doesn't. But
I'm sure.
her mother spoke full Chinese.
Oh.
She didn't
So you
like
just stood there and...
It was,
Nodded.
No, I never got that right. I could, so I would try to sell the book. How do you sell the book? Okay, you need a pitch for the book. So you've got your outline, you might be working on it. And if you've never written a book before, which you guys haven't, you kind of need to write the full manuscript to sell it. There's no one's going to say, oh, just write a book, unless you're somehow a reality TV star and you or that guy who just did the book who was part of the Navy SEALs who killed Osama bin Laden. Like, if you're that guy, okay, you just partner with someone who interviews you for about 25, 30 hours, and they transcribe that, and they turn it, like Shatner doesn't, he doesn't write books.
No.
He has a partner help him. So, you need to write the full thing, but what you do need is a pitch, which is about a one-page thing. If anybody emails me, if you go to my website, chrisgore.com, and you click contact and you say, send me that essay about how to write a book, Chris, I'll send you not only sample pitches for books I've sold, I will send you outlines for books that I've written, and I'll send you my motivational pamphlet, how to write a book. It's like a 4,000, 5,000 word essay I wrote to motivate my friends who've never written books to write books, and because whatever. So, what do you need? The pitch. The pitch is like when you go to when you have a book and you look at the jacket on the inside and you have that text or the stuff on the back. Write that about your book. So whatever would appear there, which is trying to sell it to the reader, so the reader is saying like, oh, here's the description, or to make it easier, if you're on Amazon or whatever the publisher's description of the book that is trying to sell you the book, you need that for your book that is yet unwritten or unpublished.
Yeah, I am the guy, yes, my friends have come to me asking for advice. How do I write a book? The weird thing is once I did my first one, and we're just talking about nonfiction here, right? I've not written any fiction books. I'm talking about nonfiction. I thought like, wow, that seemed easy. It seemed like something that was like, well, if I could do that, then I'll write another book or I'll do this thing. It's something that is so daunting in the minds of so many. The idea that writing a book. I think the challenge is now it's become where a lot of people can write a book. I mean, you could record yourself talking for 6 or 7 hours, transcribe it, put it in text, lay it out like a book, and publish it and print it out yourself. I do think that having other people involved in terms of getting feedback, having your manuscript read, really honing it, rewriting, going through a rewrite phase. I mean, there's, I think that actually will get you towards a better book, or at least to consider like, oh my God, how could I have forgotten that in this book? So I can't hog all of the credit for the books I've done. There's the list of credits in the books where I collaborated on one book with a friend, Paul Salamoff, and my other book, The Ultimate Film Festival Survival Guide, that series of books, I have brought on research assistants to go and do the data that I go through, and then I add and tweak stuff and whatnot. But certainly when it comes to something that's where you can actually improve the book by having someone help you out, take that opportunity. If you have the chance to have someone give you feedback, feedback to me is like air to a creative person. You need it to survive. You need feedback, whether it be good review, bad review, applause, laughter, a long email giving you notes on why your book is awful and that you should stop writing. I haven't gotten one of those yet, but I have gotten long ones with notes. All right, back to the two white guys.
I did get you guys mixed up, and I feel so bad.
Oh, it's okay.
I feel so bad, and I heard something. I was listening to another podcast. I'm sorry. It's like I feel like I'm cheating on you guys when I listen to the podcast.
You listen to more than one.
But I was listening, and Judd Apatow was saying, and I have the same problem.
I've heard
where I love Judd Apatow.
He's great.
He says that he is so afraid that he's going to get people's names wrong that he will not call people by their names,
He'd rather
even
not.
though he knows them.
Yeah.
I know famously Sam Raimi, who I knew back in Detroit, and then, I love Sam Raimi. I knew him for years. He would always say, "Hey, pal, hey, buddy," because he doesn't know, and he might even know my name, but he's afraid he's going to get it wrong. And I got you mixed up because I met you. You guys both have names that start with the letter J, and you hit me up on Twitter, but I thought it was you because I thought, wait, it's like I gave you the card.
Yeah.
Anyways,
which didn't have.
it didn't have my contact info, but then you hit me up, which we have never met.
Right.
So it was this whole thing.
We made it work.
Yeah, I think we made
figured
it work. I think we made it work.
So what do you have coming? Like, what is
I
it?
feel really bad about it.
No.
Don't feel bad. We're just a couple schmucks.
No, let him feel bad. Let him feel bad for a little bit, though.
Okay.
I feel horrible. I don't feel bad if I do it with a girl because it'll just make her hate me, which means that she'll actually like me. It's like junior high teasing.
Yeah. Oh.
Junior high teasing. Then
Well, you should go after girls that aren't in junior high.
Yeah, I know. But, I still have that mentality. I'm like frozen at 14, right?
I'm just joking.
We have an audience now. They should clap. Everyone. Two White Guys podcast. Everybody. Unbelievable. Look how good we are on the show.
So why don't you let us know, what do you have coming up? Besides everything.
I am coming out with a comedy CD.
Okay.
I'm coming out with a comedy CD. It'll be late this year, early 2013. My podcast, PodCRASH.
Yes, PodCRASH, which you might see some of this on.
Yes, you're going to hear some of it. I also have the animated series, Fetishville. You can go to fetishville.com. You can follow at Fetishville. It's spelled Fetish, V-I-L. It's a stop-motion animated series about girls who work at a fetish dungeon that services the rich, powerful, and famous. So next year we're launching...
So that's where Mitt Romney hangs out.
Exactly.
Oh!
So next year we're launching an app and the web series, and it's going to be awesome. So that web series... I have some other projects too, but they haven't... They haven't sold yet, so I can't really talk about it.
Because
I steal them. I'll steal the shit.
But the comedy CD, I can tell you what the name is. Can I actually announce the name?
Is the word penis in the title?
It is not. But the title of my comedy album, because it's not really a CD. I mean, I guess I'll put it out on
It's an
CD,
iTunes thing?
But it's an iTunes thing.
Yeah.
But I will make
I still call them
CDs.
CDs. I still call them albums.
Albums. They're pretty, albums, which doesn't make any sense.
Because an album hasn't been around a long time.
Album is now kind of like a thing. It's like a project.
Like a photo album.
Yeah, so...
All right, so the title?
It's called Celebrities Poop, is my title.
Like celebrities are capable of pooping, or like physical celebrity poop?
Celebrities Poop is the title of my album. And it's kind of based on a little bit of that book, Everyone Poops, for children. But I have a couple stories that involve this.
Girls don't, but that's different, right?
Yes, girls do not poop.
Right.
I have lived with women the better part of my life.
Yeah.
Mom, I have a sister.
No poop.
I have been with women.
All poop.
I've been with women sexually.
All poopless.
Women, and I don't know how they do this. You should have, next time you have a woman on your show, can you please get them to answer this question? Women are poop ninjas. Women are poop ninjas because I have found no evidence in all the times I've traveled with women on trips, intimate trips, where we're like sharing a hotel room. And I'm thinking, I do the thing, we all do the thing. You got to light a match. Out of courtesy.
Sure. I mean, I
pull the fire alarm.
A spray.
Light a match. But even the sound. So what I like
watch
to do.
the whole bathroom out.
Feel free to use this.
Smell.
Feel free to use this. You're at a hotel. You're traveling with a lady.
Okay.
You wanna treat her right. Use the hotel bathroom. Just say you're going down, you know what? I'm going to check out the Sundries place. First of all, she'll be impressed that you know the word Sundries.
She'll go, what's that? Then you'll have a conversation about the fuck
She's
Sundries
like, what's
are.
that? I'm 19.
It's the store where you can get bottled water and
snacks
and gum.
Yep.
Yeah, so you're going to the Sundries place, so you might want to pick something up. But then you're pooping in the hotel.
But then you've lied to a woman.
Beth, you haven't, first of all, some amount of lying, I think, is necessary in order to continue to be in a relationship. Let's be honest.
Yeah, like how many people you've had sex with.
Yeah. 98% of it's lying.
Yes.
The other 2% is not lying.
Yeah.
I'm only kidding.
Like, there are those traps that girls set, like, do I look fat in this? I answered that question once, and it was a bad result.
Yeah, you don't ever answer that.
Well, okay, I answered it. I didn't answer the question wrong. I didn't answer it immediately.
Oh, you hesitated, which means no.
The beat that I put there
Or yes, it means yes.
was death.
Yeah.
It was death. It's like, I don't know, but I like women who are like kind of a big
one boob in the middle.
I like a big.
I go with
I do. It's funny you mention that.
Boobs, I don't care about boobs. What are you gonna do with the boobs? After a while, it's like, okay, great.
I can think of three things to do with boobs right now that I would do.
There's a few things, yes, but you run out of stuff with them. So I like all varieties of breasts.
I'm an equal opportunist.
Don't care.
The boobs.
Yeah, but I need something. I need. Not a hairy,
something to bite onto,
Not a hairy coin slot. Let's actually clear that up. Not a hairy coin slot.
I think a coin slot woman is a different thing.
But I don't like a girl who's a Barbie either. I don't go for a Barbie lady. I want to know you're a woman.
I don't want to know that.
You don't want to know that.
I also ask people
you date ambiguous women. I'm not even sure what she is.
I always ask
having
people,
a great time.
Does this penis make me look fat?
Does this penis make me look bad?
You have a really slender wiener.
Yeah.
All right, that's it for this week's show. I really want to thank Jason and Josh from the Two White Guys podcast. Those guys were great. I mean, the fact that they tolerated me and the fact that we continued going, even though the sign behind us was falling, I think that was a lot of fun. It showed our cool under pressure by just continuing with the show. You can get more about Jason Horton and Josh Mattingly at twowhiteguys.tumblr.com. You can watch past episodes of the Two White Guys on YouTube over at youtube.com/show/twowhiteguys. And follow them on Twitter at TWG Podcast. And you can find them on Facebook, of course. You know what? Speaking of that, follow the show. Follow PodCRASH at PodCRASH Show. Follow me at @ChrisGore. And like us on Facebook, facebook.com/PodCRASH. On our Facebook page, you'll see photos taken during the Two White Guys podcast. You'll see pictures from our live shows. You'll see videos from our YouTube channel at youtube.com/PodCRASHTV. You'll see a lot more. You'll see a lot more because you can't really see. The only thing you can see right now is if you are holding this in a device or you're listening to this, you can see the logo for the show. That gets really boring after a while. And maybe I should consider changing that logo. Should I? I don't know. But in any case, check out the Facebook page because you get a lot more there. It's like it's like the bonus features. It's like the special features for this podcast because there's a whole layer of things. You can only listen to the show. You can actually go on Facebook and be listening to the show and seeing pictures. It's like in creating your own weird thing in your head about what might have happened when that big sign fell on us. All right. Thanks a lot. One last thing. Let's get out of here. If you're still listening to this, you're probably a lot like me. You're the kind of person that talks too much. I like you. We're a lot alike. For that, you shall be rewarded. Send a self-addressed stamped envelope to PodCRASHwithThatChrisGore, 5042 Wilshire Boulevard, PMB 1500, Los Angeles, California 90036. You will receive in return our fan club kit. It's the PodCRASH fan club kit, only available at our live shows or by sending a self-addressed stamped envelope. And if you send a self-addressed stamped envelope that is covered in postage, I'll actually not only throw in the fan club kit, I'll throw in some DVDs that I'm trying to get rid of. Literally, you're doing me a favor because I am clearing a shelf of DVDs. Now, they're my choice, these DVDs. They are free. Some of them will be pretty awful. But how can you complain when they're the cost of postage? Yeah, that's how they get you. Whenever they say something is for free, but then it's free, but then it's a special handling and postage charge, you're pretty much paying for it. Now I feel guilty about this. You know what? I'm not going to feel guilty. I'm going to say that you can get something for free and you could take the stamps from work if you want. I'm not endorsing this. I'm saying don't tell anybody that I told you to do that. But if you could use your work postage and you could get this and why not? And if you want to, if you want to ask me a question, email me PodCRASHwithThatChrisGore@gmail.com. I will answer your questions here on the show. And later.
See, I think that's cool. It's like I look on this period in America as like, this is when you do the thing that you really want to do.
It's like a rebirth.
It's like, you're passionate about. You start the, beer company, the microbrew company. You write the book that you always wanted to write. You do that thing. I think that, like, it's important to stay productive, and create. I have this thing that's like near my computer that is it's just posted in. It just says make something from nothing. And I try to do that every day, whatever it is. I try to do either a craft project or, to get some forward on some project I'm doing. You guys do the same thing. Look at all that you guys have achieved.